Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Going forward in our study of Madina Book 2, inshallah today is our class number 22, and we're going to learn two things today, inshallah. What we're going to do is we're going to learn and revisit ISM MOUSUL, its adjective clause, and we're going to learn about types of fi'l again, anwa' al-fi'l, these types of verbs. So going to ISM MOUSULA, so we've learned that there are, which is adjective clause, the singular form, which is when we have, in this singular form we have muzakkar and muannath. Muzakkar is alladhi, which is used for the masculine nouns, whether it is human beings or objects. Okay, if it is used for human beings, it is translated as the one who, and if it is for object, so which or that. And the same thing applies to muannath, which is allati. And today, inshallah, we're going to learn a little bit about the al-jam'u, means for the plural nouns. So again, same thing, we have mudhakkar and muannath. Mudhakkar is alladhina. So the nouns which represents jam'u, whether it is human beings or an object. And muannath is called allati. Allati. So we're going to do some examples so that we can get a good idea about how to use this ism mausula. So we know whenever this ism mausula, we got a silatul mausul, and this ism mausula can come as a naat, it can come as a khabar, it can come as a maf'ul bihi. So depending on what position that we have to identify, and regardless of where the position of ism mausula is, what we need to see is a silatul mausul and connect this ism mausula and silatul mausul to the noun appropriate. So if you see here, ar-rajulu alladhi kharaja min maktabil mudiri mudarrisun jadidun. So how do we translate this? So you know, ar-rajulu, this is a typo here, it's not ar-rajulu, it's ar-rajulu. Ar-rajulu is man, mubtada, which means, so it is a singular, so we have to use a singular ism mausula which represents the proper noun. So that's why we use alladhi. So when we use a silatul mausul, even everything in the silatul mausul should represent that singular noun. So that's why the whole sentence has a flow and connectivity, and there's no confusion, and we're not using different types of nouns and verbs. So we have ar-rajulu alladhi kharaja min maktabil mudiri, the one who left from where is maktabil mudiri, the office of the headmaster. So what about him? That's the kharaja min maktabil mudiri is your silatul mausul, which is connected to alladhi, and then we are getting a khabar. So khabar, one word we know is marfu, and then we have mudarrisun, and jadidun is the naat, so it is a new teacher. So ar-rajulu alladhi kharaja min maktabil mudiri mudarrisun jadidun. So we can understand the whole thing, how things are connected to each other. The one who left from the mudir's office is a new teacher. So how do you use alladhina? So if you want to use alladhina, say ar-rijalu. So it's a plural for ar-rajulu. So ar-rijalu alladhina. So we need to have a proper ism mausula which represents the plural, jam'u. So we have alladhina. We can't use ar-rajulu alladhi. So that makes no sense. So again, same thing, when we use alladhina, then we have to use a silatul mausul matching alladhina. So we have kharaju, so we can't say kharaja. So kharaju, waw represents whom, and this whom represents to alladhina, those who. So the men, those who left min maktabil mudiri, from the office of the headmaster, mudarrisuna jududun. So again, the khabar has to be marfu. So mudarrisuna is jama mudhakkar salim. Waw is the sign of marfu, and jududun is naat. So new teachers. So this is how the whole sentence is connected. So if we understand the connections, now we know what is mubtada and what is khabar and how the everything else the sentence is built up. So if we take a muannas allati, so if we say at-talibatu, so now we know it's a muannas tita marbuta, at-talibatu female student, allati, so we don't say at-talibatu alladhi, it's at-talibatu allati jalasat. So you have to use the feminine verb jalasat, sitting. She's the one who sat. Amamal mudarrisati, in front of the teacher, is, what about her? The news is bintu. So his khabar is one word, is mafu, but it's wahuwa mudaf, and bin mudirati is mudaf ilayhi, is the daughter of head teacher. So the student, the one who sat in front of the teacher, is daughter of the head teacher. So if you want to use the jam'u form of mu'annath, at-talibatu, so what do we use? Allati. At-talibatu allati. So we have alladhina for mudhakkar and allati for mu'annath. Allati jalasna. See, the word those who sat. So here na represents hunna, and that it refers back to allati. Jalasna amama al-mudarrisati is banatu. So the plural of bint is banatu. Banatul mudirati. So daughters of the head teacher. So we're going to do some more examples so we just get a good idea about how to use this alladhi, alladhina, allati and allati. So if you say man, so because man having a sukoon and is hamzatul wasl, so we want to pronounce it as manil. Manil fatal ladhi kharaja min al-fasli al-ana. Who is the young boy? The one who left from class now. This is how we translate manil fatal ladhi. If it has a plural, so the plural of fatan is fityatun. So manil fityatul ladhina kharaju min al-fasli al-ana. So who are those young men? Those who left. Kharaju, wa represents min al-fasli al-ana. Again, manir rajulu. See, manir rajulu alladhi dakhala baytukum. Alladhi dakhala baytakum. Ta is your maf'ulun bihi wa huwa mudaf and kum mudaf ilayhi. So dakhala baytakum is your silatul mawsul connected to alladhi. Al-ana is dharf. So who is the man? The one who entered your house now. So again, manir rijalu. So rijalu is plural for rajulun. Alladhina dakhalu baytakum al-ana. So who are those men? Those who entered your house. So here we need to write a proper verb, even though we don't translate it as they entered. So we just write translate as who are those men? Those who entered. So allazina means those who. Dakhalu means those people entered. So we don't translate two times, but when you write wow to representing whom to give proper meaning. So if you do some more examples, inshallah. So if you see here, Ayn al-talibu alladhi jaa amsi. So where is the student? The one who jaa means came. The one who came yesterday. Amsi is yesterday. Ayn al-tullabu. So where are those students? How do you say? Alladhina jaa'u amsi. Those who came yesterday. So if you give it here, darabtu walada. See, darabtu means fa'il. Tu is the fa'il. So I hit the boy. So now we're describing the boy. So al walada, who is the boy? Alladhi, the one who darabani. He hit me, the one who hit me. So I hit the boy, the one who hit me. How do we do a plural? So is it? Again, it will be the file will be the same. Darabtul awladu. Okay, darabtul, instead of waladu we will say walada. Darabtul walada, instead of walada we will say awlada. Darabtul awlada alladhina darabuni. See, it's a alladhina darabuni. So we use the darabu means they hit, and ni is nun wikaya in ya mutakallim. Darabtul awlada alladhina darabuni. I hit the boys, those who hit me. So if we just quickly do some examples of muannas, so we get more stronger in this inshallah. So we say at-talibatu allati dakhalat fasla. So we need to use the proper vowel signs to represent maf'ulun bihi and fa'il. Al-ana min al-hind. The students. At-talibatu, that's mubtada. Allati is your ism mawsula, and dakhalat fil fasl al-ana is your suratul mawsul connected to allati. We still haven't got khabar. Min al-hindi is your jar majrur shibu jumla khabar. So the student, the one who entered the class now, is from India. So how do we make a plural in the general? At-talibatu. See, atu. At-talibatu allati dakhalna. See, dakhalna. So they entered al-fasla al-ana min al-hind. So one more quick example inshallah, so we get more and more stronger. Al-fatatu is a young lady. So we're talking about one, so we say allati indal mudirati is with the head teacher. Ukhtu Maryama. Ukhtu is your khabar wa huwa mudaf, and Maryama is mudaf ilayhi. Maryama is mamnu' min as-sarf, that's why we have fatha even though it is majroor mudaf ilayhi. So how do we make plural? So fatatu is fatayatu. Maybe using a different sentence here. At-tabibatu allati fi mustashfal wiladata. See, at-tabibatu, the doctor, the lady doctor, the one who, allati fi in mustashfa. Here the noun is ending with alif maksura, so it doesn't take a regular kasra. There is no vowel sign on alif maksura, so that's why it was pronounced as fa. Fi mustashfal wiladati, in hospital of maternity, basically. Is min Inkaltarra, is from England. So this is about the ism mawsula lil jam'u for the plural nouns, and also just to practice for the singular allazi, allati, alladhina, allati. So going to our next section, so what we're going to do now is we're going to learn about the types of fa'al. So we know we've done ism and we got fa'al, and we know that there are different case endings for each. We've done extensively about ism, so we know very well now that ism has different case endings, which is marfu, mansoob, and majroor, and also there are certain nouns which are mabni. So we are well aware of it, what constitutes marfu, what constitutes mansoob to a noun, and what constitute to the majroor. So inshallah today we're going to learn about the fa'al. So we're going to see what are the case endings for the fa'al. There are case endings for the fa'al as well. So we know the types of fa'als. There are three types basically. We know fa'al madi, the past tense, fa'al mudari, and fa'al amr. So we have to learn in each type what are the case endings. How do we identify each? So coming to fa'al mudari, which is past tense. So good news is fa'al madi is mabni, which means it is fixed. So there are no changes in the case endings of the noun. For example, if it is kataba, so it will remain kataba, whether it is marfu, mansoob, or majroor. There's no different case endings for the past tense. Mudari, it is called, it's a mu'rabun. Mu'rabun means it changes, the vowel signs changes. For example, if you have taktubu, so here the noun is ending with dhamma. So we're going to learn soon now. So what are the different signs the fa'al mudari takes. So only fa'al mudari is mu'rab, which means it changes the vowel signs, and fi'l amr is again mabni, is fixed. So we're going to learn about fi'l amr in our next class. So today we are going to concentrate on fi'l mudari, and we have done fi'l madi in our previous classes, so we're not going to go into fi'l madi. So coming to what are the case endings. So we don't say it's called halat of the fi'l or moods of the fi'l. So we know the nouns, when they are marfu, we know it is kitabun, and with mansoob it's kitaban, and majroor it's kitabin. So we have dhamma, fatha and kasra. So what do we have in fi'l? In fi'l, what do we have is marfu the verb will end with dhamma. See, taktubu ending with dhamma. And what's the mansoob? It's very easy, is taktuba, so ending with fatha. And do we have majroor in fi'l? Say this, no. The fi'l never ever takes kasra, so it can never be majroor. So what does the fi'l take then? So what do we call it as? We don't say it's majroor, it's called majzoom. Majzoom means that the fi'l takes a jazm or a sukoon. So the fi'l which ends with jazm or a sukoon is called majzoom. So these are the three types of conditions in which the fi'l can be found. This marfu, taktubu, mansoob, taktuba, for example, and majzoom is taktub. So what we need to know is that the noun will never take a sukoon at the end, and a fi'l will never take a kasra at the end. So when you see a noun, if you don't know the meaning, if you look at the last sign on the noun, if it has kasra, then you know it's not a verb. And when you see a sukoon, then we know that that's not a noun. This is all of the ways to identify. So we're going to learn in detail in this book too. So what makes the verb go from marfu to mansoob and mansoob to majzoom, inshallah, in our future classes. So but just to give a brief introduction, that there are these three conditions which exist. So this, we're going to do some more examples and do in detail. So if we give you the 5 in your pocket, marfu forms, so how will it be? You say yadhabu. If you take the example of dhahaba, yadhabu, fataha yaftahu, bab. Yadhabu, tazhabu, tazhabu, azhabu, nazhabu. So all the fi'ls ending with the dhamma. How will the mansoob form? The mansoob will be yadhaba, tadhaba, tadhaba, azhaba, nazhaba, ending with fatha. And how will be majzoom? Majzoom will be yadhab, tadhab, tadhab, adhab, nadhab. So we're going to learn soon what are the things which makes the nouns go mansoob and majzoom. So how do we do the next of the verbs? So if we remember, if we have said that there are a noon aata hai and noon jata hai group in our book 1. So if you remember, so the noon, what is it, this noon aata hai, noon jata hai means? So now we're going to understand that the noon which is present in these fi'ls is the sign of marfu. So when you see a noun, that means the fi'l is marfu form. And what do we have in majroor, in mansoob and majzoom? So both mansoob and majzoom, it's only one form. So that is the noon jata hai. So when you don't see the noon, so for example, yadhabani will become yadhaba, yadhabuna will become yadhabu, tadhabani, noon is present, and tadhaba is the mansoob and majzoom form. This noon is not there. And tadhabani will become tadhaba, tadhabuna will become tadhabu, tadhabina will become tadhabi, and tadhaba will become tadhabani will become tadhaba. So what we need to know, that the fa'il in this both the groups will remain the same. So yadhabani, the fa'il is alif, but noon is a sign of marfu, and without the noon, what we call is here mansoob bil hadafi noon, where the noon has been dropped. That's how we, in the grammatical terms, we say alamatu mansoob is hadafi noon in all these things. And the fa'il is alif, alif musanna, and waw represents whom, and ya represents anti, and alif is alif musanna. And what do we have in the next section is the, we know it's a mabni section, so same thing applies here, both marfu, mansub and majrur, because this noon is noon of fa'il, so this is a fixed one, so it doesn't go. So this is remains same in marfu, mansub and majzum form. Yadhabna, tadhabna, hunna and antunna, they are mabni. So no matter what comes in front of them, they will not change their sign. So and noon is the fa'il. So we have noon aata hai, noon jata hai, in which the fa'il is mustatir, and it remains mustatir in the forms of marfu, mansub and majzum. And noon aata hai, noon jata hai group, where the noon afwalul khamsa is the proper term, afwalul khamsa, where the noon represents the sign of marfu, and the hadafi noon, the sign of the alamatu nasbih is hadafi noon, is represents the sign of mansub or majzoom. So let's give some more examples so we get to understand better, inshallah. So we say yadrusu, this is marfu form, yadrusu, yadrusani, yadrusuna, tadrusu. She is reading, tadrusani, they both are reading, yadrusna, they are reading, tadrusu, tadrusani, tadrusuna, tadrusina, tadrusani, tadrusna, adrusu, nadrusu. And how will be the majzoom form? Mansub, and we'll do the mansub form first, this yadrusa. So and here on the yadrusani, the alamatu nasbihi is hazfi noon, is a dropping of the noon, which tell us that this is now, it is in a different condition. This noun is not normal marfu, something has happened, and we need to understand why this has happened. So yadrusu, yadrusu, wow, and this alif vikaya, we're going to write this again to protect the fa'al. Tadrusa, tadrusa, yadrusna will remain yadrusna. Again tadrusa, tadrusa, tadrusu, tadrusi, and tadrusa, tadrusna, adrusa, nadrusa. That will be your mansoob form, and your majzoom form will be yadrus. Again yadrusa will remain yadrusa, yadrusu, again be hazfi noon, majzoom alamatu jasmihi is hazfi noon, tadrus is, again here the fa'il is mustatir, tadrusa, fa'il is attached, alif musanna, yadrusna, fa'il is noon, tadrus, fa'il is mustatir, tadrusa, fa'il is alif, and alamatu is nasib, or it is at the moment it's majzoom, alamatu jasmihi, hadfi noon, it's dropping of noon, and tadrusu, waw is the fa'il, and it's majzoom, alamatu jasmihi is hadfi noon, tadrusi, tadrusa, tadrusna, adrus, and nadrus. So this is how we make majzoom and mansoob and marfu forms of fa'il. Inshallah, we're going to, in the next class, we're going to learn how do we make amr form, and then we're going to, after that, we're going to start our lessons from the book too. So we get a brief introduction of all the types of fa'ils, and then our understanding of the lessons will be easy. So here we come to our end of our class today, inshallah. So just quick to recap, we did about ISM MOUSULA and types of fa'il, marfu, mansub and majzoom. Inshallah, next class we'll be repeating this, and we'll do fa'il amr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.